some model runs have put us into the 20s and teens as we head through the weekend. What are your plans this Valentine's Day weekend? And they may be heavily impacted by the weather, which could either be anything from cold rain to maybe ice across the Houston area on Saturday. It's a possibility. Let me go over all the moving parts with you. And the first thing you can see is that the leading edge of the Arctic front has reached into North Texas. In fact, it's right here. That's I-20. So it's now through the I-20 corridor. Abilene's at 45, Amarillo's 36. Dallas is 48. Dallas was 70 early in the afternoon before the front came through, and now they're at 48. We're very mild here. Houston 63, Victoria 66, Del Rio still hanging on to 75. Let me show you the bigger picture. And there it is. So 36 Amarillo, Oak City's 20 with snow right now. Dodge City is 10 with snow. Kansas City 8, Omaha 0, 7 below in North Platte, Nebraska, and 12 below International Falls. So the Arctic air has arrived, and it's a good 2/3 south through the United States. You can see how warm it is across the Gulf Coast states, and then it gets bitterly cold. Not uncommon to see temperature contrasts like this in February. February can be one of our more interesting months for temperature contrasts and weather extremes. And this cold air is interesting. I want to explain a little something about this. So this cold air, it's very shallow cold air. Quite often, say this is the bottom of the atmosphere, here's the ground, here's a tree, and you go up, up to about 10,000 feet, and you get a gradual cooling. But this cold air is very shallow. Again, if here's the ground, here's a tree, it's only about 700, 800 feet thick. It's very thin. It's not too far above treetop level. And so when you have a very shallow Arctic air mass, the computer models that we lean on heavily for guidance, they have trouble with that. They don't see that cold air very clearly. So quite often they'll flip-flop from suddenly very warm to suddenly very cold when they find a little bit of that cold air. But it makes it very difficult to pinpoint any type of temperature forecast when you have these shallow Arctic air masses. This is the latest GFS American computer model, the one we lean heavily on, this one and the European. This GFS brings the cold air close to us on Thursday. Dallas at freezing, Houston in the 60s. That's Thursday morning. By Thursday at 10 o'clock, we're dropping into the 40s. Dallas in the 20s, teens and single digits further north. That's the Arctic air coming in. So it looks like Thursday night into Friday morning is when the cold air is at least forecast to arrive by the computer models. But I've seen many times with these Arctic air masses that are shallow and very cold, the Arctic air quite often comes in earlier and colder than the forecast models anticipate. And by Saturday noon, we're sitting at 38 degrees. That's the latest run of the GFS, the American computer model. So we're close to freezing on Saturday. Now the problem is we're going to be in a setup where the jet stream is taking a dip out here in West Texas. There's the trough axis. We're going to be on the lee side, on the eastern side of that trough axis, which means we're going to be on the lifting side, which means we're going to get rain. That rain will be snow across North Texas. And if the temperatures are cold enough, as this early run of the GFS model suggested, we may see a widespread area of sleet and freezing rain from Austin to Houston, all the way down to Corpus Christi on Saturday. That's a possibility. The blue being the snow, the pink being the not fun stuff, the sleet and the freezing rain. If this scenario plays out, we're going to have power outages and the roads are going to be an absolute mess. You will not want to be out under these type of conditions on Saturday night or Sunday. So what are the chances that we actually end up getting this icy scenario from Austin to Houston and down to Galveston and the coast? Well, I'm going to go with 50-50 right now, because the two models that we lean heavily on, the American model in blue and the European model in orange, have two very different outcomes at the moment. The American model, the GFS, has us dropping into the 40s on Friday, 30s Saturday. These are high temperatures. Below freezing for a high temperature on Sunday and only 21 for a high on Monday. That's bitterly cold, dangerously cold. So that's the cold run. And this one would have us dropping below freezing Saturday afternoon and staying there through Sunday, and that would be an icy scenario for us. If the European model is correct, it's got us getting chilly, 50s, 60s, 40s, and 30s, but all above freezing, and that would just be a cold rain. this weekend. And I would be thrilled with a cold rain. I'm rooting for this outcome. I do not want ice and sleet. Because if we end up with this outcome, we're going to have significant problems with power outages, tree limbs down, power outages, roads impassable, all the bridges and overpasses being iced up. You won't be able to get anywhere. Do you have special needs? Is there someone in your house who is extremely dependent on there being a very steady supply of power for medical or medication or whatnot? Do you have a contingency in case we end up with an icy scenario and we get widespread power outages? These are just some things I want you to begin to think about, because it's possible we could end up with some ice on Saturday. It's possible, not set in stone by any stretch. As I mentioned, this is a difficult forecast because the models have a difficult time seeing that very thin layer of bitter cold air. So as far as tomorrow goes, we're going to warm up. 61 in the morning, 70 at noon, 75 is the high temp on Tuesday. And looking at the extended, here's what I've done. So Wednesday, 76, we get some scattered showers on Wednesday. Thursday, we shift the wind to the north at 20. That's the front coming in. We're much chillier on Thursday. Friday, I've got temperatures not plunging, but it's cold, 40s, low 50s, staying cold, northeast wind. And then Saturday, I've kind of split the difference between the two models. I've got us in the 30s all day on Saturday, but I've got us above freezing. But again, what I'm doing is I'm just splitting the two models, because at this point, I'm not sure which one is going to be correct. If it stays above freezing, we'll be rainy. If we get a little bit colder air coming in, we're going to end up with some ice, and that's going to cause some problems. So it's going to be close. It's a forecast that we all kind of need to just pay attention to each day as it evolves and that cold air gets closer. And quite often in these scenarios, where we've got this very shallow Arctic air, the models become, just about useless, and we just have to just kind of watch moment to moment. Okay, what is the temperature in Conroe and Huntsville? How quickly is it moving south? And it makes it for a very interesting forecast as far as the meteorologist is concerned, but it can be frustrating because we don't have a forecast set in stone for such a big potential weather event. Sunday, staying cold, 29, 35. I'm going to have to lower temperatures here. I've got 31, 44. I think Monday's going to end up being much colder than that. It may end up that some temperatures are cold enough to where we have to protect some pipes, at least in northern counties. So it's only Monday, so this is good. We've got many, many days to watch this evolve and stay up to the forecast. But again, if you have special needs or no one who's very dependent on power, someone who has to travel on Saturday, if it's icy, those two things may be difficult to get. So plan accordingly for your family to keep yourself safe. That's the way we stand right now. At 10 o'clock, computer models will have updated again. I'll show them to you. We'll see you on the TV side for a complete update on KHOU 11 News at 10.